I didn't know they had a bell in here.
It's time. I'll be introducing to y'all Mr. Harry Smith, the real African American. Everybody give a hand for Mr. Harry Smith.
Thank you. I want to thank Leon for bringing me in. We jump-started. This is something I used to do for years and years and years that I had back, Well, me and my wife, instead of me lecturing, I went to doing a whole lot more studying and traveling and visiting spots. And we've been all up and down the East Coast, going to all the different spots, learning things. My biggest thing is that what I really like to teach is that, throughout the time and the histories that we've been taught, we've always been taught the negative side of our history. You know what I mean? And you can see here, just like here, we'll talk about this. We'll talk about my learning wall. This is actually my learning wall. And I can change this learning wall. I got so much stuff. I've actually owned, and this is funny, Leon, I actually own 2 of these learning walls this big and 2 straight up for about 4 learning walls. So I have lectured with full, walls. But these walls are just that. They're learning walls. They're designed. I've had them set up in libraries. I've had them set up in schools. I've been up in Mansfield High School, a couple of other schools in Black History Month. And these are just really designed for you to walk up and read. This is not what I lecture on. I do touch these, but these walls I've left in the library for a week so that the patrons can come in and read things. And some of the things that I like to put on the wall, I always put the Constitution up here. I always put the Declaration of Independence up here. Because these are the things that the Europeans, that we don't understand about the Europeans and what they did. But if you really go into your history, okay, first let's back up. Why history? Why history? Why history, period? Well, if you understood history today, you would not be surprised at what you see the Trump administration doing. Because it has all been done before. Tariffs, all of these things have been done in the past. So people say those who don't know history are destined to repeat history. You know what I mean? If you don't know, I'll give you an example. If you know, if my brother sees me jump, and I don't have any brothers, I say my sister. If my sister see me jump up and say something smart aleck to my mother, and my mother punched me in the face, and 3 weeks later, she decides she done jumped up and say something to my mother, she forgot history. Because history says, if I open my mouth, she's gonna punch me in my face, all right? This is the importance of understanding history. That's a little simple breakdown of it. But just a quick rundown of the wall itself. I like to put this up here because first off, I want you to understand when they founded this country, it didn't have nothing to do with us. US ain't never meant us, right? United States, US ain't never meant us. We was never part of it. When they had their so-called, I'm gonna tell you something, all these wars that they have fought, we never had anything to do with any of them. They want you to think we was a big part of the Civil War. No, we weren't. It's all about their money. Nothing really had nothing to do with us, all right? They'll tell you Lincoln freed the slaves. No, he didn't. Actually, Lincoln started a whole other country called Liberia in Africa that he was shipping brothers to. All right, so we get into this thing of history where what we're taught and what's true is 2 totally different things, okay? So what I try to emphasize, and my wife and I have been doing extreme travel lately, what I do now is go to these different places. There are certain names in history that the European system or that this United States system allows us to have. They allow us to have Frederick Douglass. They allow us to have Harriet Tubman. They allow us to have Dr. King. And I'm telling you now, in my opinion, Dr. King is not history. The reason I say Dr. King is not history to me is because I was alive when Dr. King was alive. Period. I was alive. You can't be history to me, dude. You the old, I got aunts that would have been your age. You know, had you not been a I don't know how old he would be now, but in those days, in the 60s, the United States government made a big concerted effort to slaughter all of the black leadership. Just slaughter them, which wasn't unusual. If they knew their history, they would have seen that wherever they traveled, they slaughtered. When they came into this country, they slaughtered the Indians, slaughtered them. We think we were the first ones who were enslaved. That's not true. The natives were enslaved first and slaughtered and shipped out. I just met a young lady, my wife and I was up and on the Mattaponi reservation about a month ago, baby. We was up on the Mattaponi reservation talking to the Mattaponi chief, and we met another chief out of a tribe out of Maine. But then they had a sister there who was a year or two younger than me, actually grew up in Virginia Beach, right about the same place I did. And she was a Mattaponi. And, you know, she had all the histories of how the Mattaponis had got extinguished. And I'm gonna show you that also in some of these teachings. But just a quick overview of that. You have that. This was, you know that the police in this country were started by, the slave catchers were the first police in this country. Does anybody know what the purpose of the police are? You know, I know on all the cars it says serve and protect, right? That's what it says. No. It's protect the white man's money or protect the rich people's money, right? That's what their job was. Their job wasn't, you know, their job was, your slaves ran away, we'll go get them. We'll go get them. Now, how are we gonna get them? By any means necessary. We're gonna beat them, choke them, if they don't make it back alive, okay. We don't really care, right? You're talking about growing up in a system that slaughtered people, used our skin for shoes, took our teeth out, made false teeth out for other people, women coddling babies, sisters breastfeeding other people's children, women in the field picking cotton and having the baby right there in the middle of the field and continuing to pick cotton. This is why I'm really huge on the strength of our people, because we're like my man would say, the baby's kids, we don't die, we multiply. Don't make no difference what you do. And this is why the European is always so frustrated with us today, because no matter what they do, we come out on the other side of this thing. We come out on the other side. Why? Because we are gifted and chosen and a gifted people. But anyway, back to the wall. So here's Colonial Williamsburg a few years back, 1999. So what's that, 15, 16 years ago or something like that? That I got these. Notice how they love to give you all the slavery stuff, right? This is when the newspaper was still a big old newspaper. I got so many newspaper clippings. One of the things I love about newspaper clippings, I got all kinds of old newspaper clippings. See, in old newspaper clippings, they didn't have to hide nothing. They didn't have to hide nothing. So in the old newspaper clippings, all the truth is written in there. Because they didn't have to fake, they didn't have to hide, you know. Now, here's on my wall the text of the Civil Rights Bill. I'm not big on the civil rights. This is when the Civil Rights Bill came out. This is May 15th, 1964. I'm 3 years old with the Civil Rights Bill. I'm 3 years old when they passed this bill. What people don't know is that there was a whole Civil Rights Bill before that Civil Rights Bill. It was in the 1800s when slavery was first abolished, right? When slavery was first abolished. Well, of course, they ignored the heck out of that first bill, which invention sent us into the whole civil rights era. Civil rights is a heck of a scam to me. It's a big scam because I'm not asking a person if I'm civil or not. You know, we as a people thought that if we could blend in, if we could get the equal rights, if we could do all of this, that they would treat us differently. Well, we all know that ain't true. That ain't true. I don't care how many DEI initiatives a company has. If you got a bunch of white dudes that you're working with, white women you're working with, when it comes time to promotion, you're not first on the list. I don't care how many initiatives they going. You're gonna have to fight your way through to get up there, all right? Now, so we had some of the speeches. We got Dr. King's been to the mountaintop, which I love his been to the mountain. We got Malcolm X's By Any Means Necessary. And then of course we got, if you ever had a chance to read Frederick Douglass' speech, What to the Slaves is the 4th of July. When they talk about the 4th of July, he busts down. They don't got nothing to do with us. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about, all right? Then also the Daily Press ran a series of things for children. Children love this part of my learning walk. They'll stand here and read these comic big, I think you say the lady's daughter keeps coming up. Children will walk up to this thing and read every one of these panels. They just love to learn. So that's just a quick, you know, of what, I forgot the main thing on my wall. Us, all right? I always put this on the wall. I don't care what I put on the wall, I always put some of the Egyptian pictures up. So you can see that the Egyptians are what color? They're not Charlton Heston and, you know, Hugh Brenner and all of that. That's not who we are, you know what I'm saying? This is what we look like, you know, this here, and this is actual, so these are actuals. Do you think that the Egyptians made a mistake in coloring their paintings? Or coloring their stuff? No, they knew exactly what we were. You go to the Vatican, which I have been to the Vatican where the Pope is. Pope comes out of his office every day, comes out of his stuff, and the first thing he sees is a black Madonna. That's the first thing he sees. And they have black Madonnas. They have black Madonnas all over the place. If you've ever been to Atlanta, they have something down there. I don't know if y'all been to Atlanta. If you've been to Atlanta, they have something down there called the Shrine of the Black Madonna. Smack dab in the black neighborhood, you know. When my wife and I travel, she laughs at me because I always go to some place and the first thing I look for is Martin Luther King Boulevard, Martin Luther King Avenue, Martin Luther King Street, Martin Luther King Road. Whatever road says Martin Luther King, I know that's gonna get me down to the black people. Because there are no Martin Luther King streets in no white neighborhoods. Let me just smash that out to you. There are no Martin Luther King streets in the white neighborhoods. So this is just a study, a quick view of what I put on the wall today. I got cases of stuff and I can change that out at any time. I want to show you real quick just a piece of trickery that I love to show at the start. I want to show this at the start. See this young man right here? Everybody see him? They say he was the first black chess grand champ, right? What is it called? Grand, whatever that is. Grand master, that's what it is. All right, and this is the 1990s. First master, grand master. Now here, and I have this in color at the house, here's a picture of my brothers, the Moors, playing chess. So I guess they played for hundreds of years and really still didn't know how. If this brother was the first one to actually figure it out, then what was these dudes doing? Just sliding chess pieces around and whatnot? But this is how things are taught to us. See, we're taught from their perspective. Oh, look at y'all, be happy, we let one of y'all in. We let one of y'all in. You had to let us in. We invented the game. We invented the game. We're going to get into the Moors a little bit more in a sec. We're going to get into the Moors a little bit more in a sec. But I just want to show y'all some of the things I have. This right here. See this right here? See this right here? Y'all ever heard of the Great Wall of China? These are the guards along the Great Wall of China. These are the guards along the Great Wall of China, the statues. You think the Chinese just flubbed on the color? You think they we're just gonna make them color. In the Chinese history, it tells you about the Moors. And the Moors that came from the water and founded everything they had going on, all right? Now, I want to give y'all a quick biology lesson, if that's okay with you. A 2-cent biology lesson, okay? So, our hair, our skin, and all of these things are biological, right? So we've learned through even if you watch Channel 15, PBS, whatever, we've learned that life started in Africa, correct? We've learned that. We're all pretty much good on life started in Africa. But what happened is we migrated out, right? We migrated out. And the further we got away from the heat, the more our hair relaxed. The more, because we didn't need it. See, because the curly, what the curly nap, what that lock does, it protects you from the sun. That spiraling hair. It protects you from the sun. That's why you don't see Africans like they're too high. They ain't never too high, because they used to be in there, right? But you've never seen a black polar bear, have you? Why? He'd be really out of place, wouldn't he? But as you get into those colder climates, you don't need that. So when they got up there, the white people's hair relaxed over the thousands of years. They didn't require that sun protection up there. It wasn't necessary. So like I said, you ain't never seen a black polar bear because he'd be looking stupid up there. You know what I'm saying? So just a little quick biology lesson. Now, I want to go through a couple of definitions with y'all. Is that all right? The one I really love, okay, first off, I try to go through the different things we've been called since I've been alive. How old are you, brother? 54. So you've heard a lot of them. So I started with nigger. That's the first term that I know they called us. Then we were from nigger, and somebody had a little statement that said, I'm not a nigger, I'm a niggero. When I become a nigger, I'll let you know. Y'all remember that one? See, I'm a little older than y'all. Y'all don't remember that one. I'm not a nigger, I'm a niggero. We used to sing it in the playground. When I become a nigger, I'll let you know. You know, that's when we're coming out of this nigger thing, right? Oh, but then they decided, you know, we didn't want to be Negroes no more. You know why? Because Negro is a property status. If you agree that you're a Negro back in the day, that was ownership. White people owned the Negroes. So when they was merging, that's why the Indians, the Indian chiefs never wanted to be called Negroes because that was property status. So they bucked against that title. All right. Therefore, so Negro we slid into what? African American. No, we slid to black. We slid to black, which makes no sense at all. Because why? White started in 1600. Well, no such thing as white. You was Irish. If you was from Ireland, you was Irish. If you was from Italy, you was Italian. France, you was French. Well, no such thing as white. White is this conglomerate that started in the 1600s here so that everybody could be better than the niggers. We're white now, right? Dudes that didn't even get along. The Jews changed their names. Instead of being Bernsteins, they just took the steen off. Just called themselves Burns. You see that in Hollywood all the time, right? You see that in Hollywood, they'll tell you this guy's name was this, and now he's famous for being this guy, because they change the names all the time, all right? So I'm gonna give you the definition of, I'm gonna give you a few definitions of Negro. Negro, a member of the dominant black race of Africa, living chiefly in the Congo and Sudan regions, a member of any of the other black races of Africa as Bantu, Hutu. Any person with some Negro ancestors is a Negro. You got some Negro ancestors, you're a Negro. Now this is them making the definitions, because why? We didn't make none of these stupid definitions. We didn't do none of that, all right? What is a negrophobe? A person who hates or fears Negroes. You know a lot of those, right? Negrophobes. I believe Trump's one of them. Negrophile. A person who admires, likes, or champions Negroes. That's gonna be me. I like black folks. I don't know about y'all. I like black folks. I'm gonna give you another Negrito. Negrito. These are all terms that they use for us. Negrito. A Negro, black, a Negro member of any various groups of black people. So now they're going, now you see that definition slide that word black in the backside, okay. Right? Now we're gonna do that, right? We're gonna slide it in like that. Let me go another definition of Negro. This is from different, what you call these things? Dictionaries. Negro, a member of the Negroid ethnic division of the human species, one of the various peoples of Central and Southern Africa, a person of Negro descent. They always throw that. If your peoples was Negroes, we're gonna make you a Negro too. Negroid, of pertaining to or designating a major ethnic division of the human species. Negroes. Now let me slide to the juicier one for y'all. Let's go straight into nigger here, okay? Nigger. A black or member of any dark-skinned people or a black person. That's what they said the word nigger was. Remember they used to always tell us when we was kids that, you know, nigger didn't mean black, nigger meant ignorant. I'm reading it out the dictionary. The dictionary says it means black, right? Nigger is black. All right. Niggardly is the other thing. But nigger is black. All right. I'm gonna go back to nigger in a different one. This is a different one. A Negro. So a Negro and a nigger is what? Same thing, according to this. All right. A member of any dark-skinned people. Any dark-skinned people. Any. They just blanketed the whole junk. Why? Because we're saying we're white. So if you're not pure white, you're a nigger. You know what I'm saying? You're a nigger. Stay with me here. Stay with me here. Then it says, too, a vulgar offensive term of hostility and contempt as used by Negro foes, which means those people who don't like niggers call you niggas, right? Simple as that. Now, we've seen them slipping. We've seen them slipping. I want to hit this one for you, though. Moors. Does anybody ever heard of the Moors? You heard of the Moors? Anybody ever heard of the Moors? Let me get you out, because Moors is my thing. The Moors are my thing. A Moor. In ancient history, a native of Mauritania, a region corresponding to parts of Morocco and Algeria, which is in what? Africa, right? Later, one belonging to the people of mixed Berber and Arab race, which is also Africa, right? Muslim in religion, see, they like to throw that Muslim in there too. They catch that. The Muslims in religion, who in the 8th century now, conquered Spain. As late as the 17th century, this Moor was supposedly black or very swarthy. Hear me again now. As of the 17th century, which is the 1600s, the Moors were supposedly to be mostly black or very swarthy. Swarthy means black. But they did have the whiter Moors too. They did have some whiter Moors also. And so therefore it says here, and hence the word was often used for Negro. So they would substitute the word Moor for Negro. Anybody ever seen the movie with Will Smith, The Wild Wild West? Anybody seen that movie? If you notice that movie, if you get a chance, you know you're looking for an old movie to go back and watch Will Smith's Wild Wild West. They call him a Moor. The evil dude with the no legs, he calls him a Moor. Most people don't know what the Moors are, so whew, straight over, right past you. But you don't know what the Moors are, so you know. Othello. You heard of Othello in Shakespeare. His name is Othello the Moor, right? Who plays Othello the Moor in the movies? Ain't it Morgan Freeman? Ain't Morgan Freeman Othello the Moor? Because the brothers are the Moors, right? Brothers are the Moors. Oh yeah, go ahead and get that skin up, man. Go ahead and get that skin up. Ethiops, which we now call Moors or Maurines. Ethiops. Anybody white in Ethiopia? No. These are the Moors. So the Moors now, when they say nigger, they blanket that as all black people. But when they go back further in history and they describe the Moors, they blanket that as what? All black people. But you don't learn anything about Moors in history at school, do you? Nobody says, hey, these are the Moors. They used to run Spain for about 800 years. What did the Moors bring to Spain? I know in our history classes, we studied the Dark Ages and the Middle Ages and all of that, right? We studied how white people didn't take baths. They didn't do baths, right? I'll give you a quick one. The bouquets that women carry when they get married, those bouquets come because the women smelled so bad, they gave them flowers